What's up, family? You're back with another one. Another episode of The Report with your girl, Jen Ether. Let's get into it tonight. We are going to hop into a divine masculine energy check-in. Let's see what's going on with the DM. It's going down in the DM. What's going on with the DM? Please give us clarity for the divine masculine. Just give us some cards to give us the energy of the divine masculine. We just want cards that represent the energy of the divine masculine. I'm at work. It's my last hour. I figured I'd come on here and bust this out real quick. And then I can shoot one later when I go home. So you guys might get two from me today. If you guys have any suggestions for any type of readings you would like me to do, put it in the comments. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can be notified for any time I come on and drop a video. Because this is my thing. This is what I do, y'all. This is what I do. What's going on with the Divine Masculine? Give me 3 more cards, please. We're going to do a 5-card spread. Intuitively called to pull 3 more cards. So that ends up being my 5-card spread. Is this 3? Too many, too many. Give me 3 more cards, please, Spirit, for Divine Masculine's energy. One more card for the Divine Masculine. This will be the overall. The overall. We got the Ace of Wands for the Divine Masculine's overall energy. So the Ace of Wands, we know, is definitely the represents the phallic, the penis, the dick. You know, my bad. This probably takes it out of the children's realm now, but that's what it represents, the phallic. Also, it's a representation of having a new beginning. Now, what I'm noticing is this person is holding, it's like they're holding their new beginning in their hand. This person could also be someone that masturbates a lot, who's holding, you know, getting it on. You feel me? So, they're also holding their new beginning. They feel like, what they say, if you're holding something in your hand, it's almost like you have control over whatever you have. So, like, if I have my phone in my hand, I have control over whether or not I drop my phone, over whether or not I throw my phone, over whether or not I hand my phone over to someone else to use my phone. You know, I have full control over whatever I have in my hand. That was like when I played basketball. A big thing was ball control. Like when you learn how to dribble, you dribble lower to the ground because it gives you more ball control. If you're dribbling up here, this is for all, if y'all got kids who's playing, if you see your kids dribbling up here above the waist, the hip, no ball control, because guess what? Someone can just come and take the ball. But if you're down here, the person got to get down lower. So that's just a little example of what I learned on the hoop court, and it all resonates. Anything you go through in life, you can usually match up to some other shit. You know what I mean? So, like the basketball, having ball control, anything you have in your hand, you got full control over what you do with that thing, right? So this person understands that they actually possess the power and their new beginning is in their control. They have full control over it. And I believe this may be the first time that this particular, because I've kind of been resonating with a certain group. So I believe this may be the first time that this particular divine masculine, I've never gotten this as like the overall energy. So it's leading me to believe this is maybe like a eureka moment for the divine masculine where they're really figuring it out like, whoa, I really hold my destiny in my hands. Like my life is in my control. This person doesn't control it. That person doesn't control it. Yes, these people can have their opinions of my life. These people can actually, inform me of things that they may want to make me aware of while I'm going through things in my life. But ultimately, I'm the one who pulls the trigger on any decision that I make. Ultimately, I'm the one who has to find the clarity within myself to make the move, which means I ultimately choose what I do with my life. And yeah, I can take account of the opinions. Yeah, I can take account of the people around me, but I know I have to do what's right for me. Why? Because I have my new beginning. The control of my new beginning is in my hands. So that's why. So now, this card, because it's the middle card, if you notice, it sits on top. And everything else is behind this. So it's like, the way, I've never even read these cards like this before in my life. So this is all intuitive hits right now. But the way I'm seeing this is, it's like, before this came up to the present, to like, this is like the foremost thought. This is like the most, this is almost like the most recent thought. Like, basically the conclusion. This is what they've concluded. Now, like I said, this is on top, so everything behind this card, up under it, is before. Like, it's almost like the motions they had to go through to get to this conclusion. So, Let's just go through the motions. What were the motions the divine masculine had to go through? One of them was leaving. Six of Swords. So for a lot of you guys, your divine masculine has decided to leave a situation that no longer served them. I want to stop really, I mean, we know karmic, but with certain things, I'm just going to say they left a situation that no longer served them. Now, this could be them physically leaving, or this could be them just throwing up the towel to where they're still physically there. They're still in it, but they're not of it. It took me a minute to think. Yeah, so it's either they physically moved or they're still within the situation, but they're not of it. They no longer resonate with it. They've kind of like washed their hands of it, even though they're still present. Also, in the past, it's like even though they were feeling like they washed their hands of it, a lot of them still felt trapped. Now, this is for that group that I said where they were in it, but they weren't of it. But just because you're in something and not of it, that's like when I was hustling. You know what I mean? I was always, first of all, I've always known how to make bread since, you know, a young kid going out shoveling snow. So I always had that money mentality on how to get this money on the opportunities that present themselves to me. So even with me hustling, I've always kind of been more so of an opportunist of a hustler. Like, I mean, I'll be like, not now because I found new ways to make bread, which is still the same thing. Like I tell people when I'm like, I was just talking to my guy and he asked me to reiterate, and I'm going to reiterate with him. It was a short bus ride, so I really couldn't get it all out. But I told him, like, listen, I use this as my block. Like, YouTube's my block. Facebook's one of my, like, it's like literally a neighborhood. So if I'm in a neighborhood, Facebook would be one block. IG would be another block. YouTube is a whole nother block. Now, I'm aware that in each block, you got certain rules. You got certain people that run that block. There's certain guidelines and lanes that you have to operate in when you're on different blocks. So like in my neighborhood, if I'm in Homewood, I'm moving a different way than if I'm out, I mean, Turtle Creek doing something. I'm moving totally different. I mean, now the move, I'm still being careful, but there's just a certain way that I know I have to move differently in this hood than when I go more so towards these suburbs. I got to move this way, you know? So it was more so a lot of that. But with me being in the game, I still was never of it. So I never had a mindset of, oh, I'm going to really mess this person over, or I really don't give a F about anyone that I'm serving for real. No, I always had love for like any of my clientele, anyone I was dealing with, even if I dealt with you, because there was client like I wouldn't take your bread. If I didn't like you, I'm not even doing business with you. And I'm still like that. Like if I don't like you as a person, we're not doing business. Because it's not going to be worth the time in China for me to do business with someone I don't really enjoy as a person. It's going to be more heartache, more BS, and it's probably going to be a lot more confusion and conflict, because if we're not seeing eye to eye, if our energies aren't right, it's just going to be a conflictual situation, and the money that I get out of it will damn near be obsolete or cancel itself out in comparison to the conflict I had to go through. So with all that being said, I've always been able to, even within that realm of hustling, be in the game but not of the game. Now, I went through all that to say this. As I was in the game but not of the game, it was still a very, very strong knowing, like, okay, it's cool that you're in it but not of it. Like, basically, it's great that you're making this bread, you're doing something of the underworld, but you're not letting your heart turn cold like the underworld. That's great. But now, Ether, we are very well aware that you're going to have to get out of the underworld. Like, first of all, your energy don't resonate with it. And you're keeping half of your energy kind of stagnant by even having to deal with the underworld. You know what I mean? So it's like, if part of me is, you know, pure, I'm going in, even after I'm dealing, before I'm dealing, after I'm dealing, I'm going in, I'm meditating, and I'm doing my research, I'm listening to Bobby Hemmett, I'm pulling up Brother Panic, I'm listening to, you know what I mean, Phil Valentine, I'm getting this good metaphysical knowledge, right? But then I'm going outside, and I'm using this stuff too. Like, I'm evading police, I'm evading all types of, I'm evading feds, I'm evading all types of stuff. Like, I'm dipping and dodging off of this spiritual prowess that I've picked up. But it was also a big knowing that, okay, there's only but so long you can stay in this middle ground to where you're going to have to move on and leave the underground alone and really not be in it and not be of it. And I knew that was happening, and as I was getting closer to that time period, things were popping up. Like, feds were jumping out on me. Yeah, I mean, I'd be walking to the store and two boys pull me over. Like, now, thank God, because of my prowess, nothing on me, I'm clean. But I could just see the signs and the signal because I'm tapped in with the universe. Like, oh, it's time to wrap this thing up. So it was good for me to be in it, but not of it. But ultimately, to truly get to where I am now, this is what, 5 years later? You could clearly see that I'm not in it and I'm not of it. And I haven't been for some time, but everything that I've gone through in that situation, I learned valuable lessons. So the Divine Masculine was in it, but he was not of it, right? But during this time period, he was realizing, like, okay, this is okay. I think at first, this was a release for the Divine Masculine to just be in it and not of it, because the DM was in it and of it. And he was, everything about the situation was the DM. Resonated with him totally. So once the DM pulled herself out of not even resonating with it, still being there, but being there and kind of being a looker, an onlooker of it, like, damn, never noticed that. Okay. I never noticed she acted like this. All right, not saying nothing, just very intellectual type, right? Just thinking, processing everything. So that was a win for the DM to just even be able to see things clearly. That's almost like everyone in the crowd, like, yeah, DM, you seeing it? You can see it. Well, there you go. There you go. Hooray, hooray. Right? It's like LeBron James with the baby powder when the DM starts seeing shit. Let's go. So that's how the DM felt, and I feel like that's how the energy of even anyone connected to the DM that truly loves them, that's how they felt too. Like, yes, friends, mother, parents, like, thank God they're seeing shit, right? Because this DM was so in it and of it, you really couldn't tell them shit. So they had to see things for themselves. So basically, it's like, even if this DM did hear things, because how do you know someone won't hear what you're trying to tell them? Obviously, you tried to tell them about it before and they wouldn't hear you. So after that, I feel like many people that were close to the DM, whether it was family, close friends, just close loved ones, just kind of knew that they couldn't get through to the DM, so they left it alone. And I believe a lot of these people were like praying and hoping for the best. Like, I just really hope that this person sees what's going on. I'm just praying for this person every day. That's all I can do. So when the DM finally started waking up and seeing, I don't think the DM said anything, but I think the friends and the family, the DM, they're very, like, the closest to him are so energetically attached that they could feel the shift in the DM's energy. So without anything needing to be said, it's almost like they were on board. It's almost like an unspoken type of thing. Like, all right, you on board now? Yeah. DM, I'm on board now. I see it now. Okay, come on, right? So the DM, so basically what I'm saying is that was a win in itself. But now they're in this, they ended up seeping back into this energy where it's like, okay, I've seen enough. Now, how do I get the hell out of here, right? And this is where they got into this plotting. Also, you see them, you see the spirit guide approaching the DM. So I feel like as they sat down and started to take out more alone time to themselves, really started to kind of contemplate the situation, they started to receive messages from the divine. As they were receiving these messages with the divine, they were also in the energies of balancing themselves out. I believe also if there was any type of mental processes or any type of beliefs that they held with them from being in the situation, they began to clear any of those beliefs that just weren't true, things that just didn't resonate with them anymore. And this also allowed them to balance themselves out, and I believe they also began to tap more into their feminine side so they could feel. They had to feel a lot of this stuff. See, the DM was so masculine and wasn't really tapped in energetically to the feminine side. A lot of this stuff for someone who's emotionally tapped in, they could see. Like, people who are emotionally tapped in, I just was telling my dad this. This is my dad. My dad loves me to death. He comes, hooks me up, looks out for me if I need it. I don't have a car right now, so he'll get me to do laundry about maybe once every 3 weeks, once a month, depends. But, you know, my father loves me. I love my father. But we get into little things as we're talking. And, you know, it's just everyone. You can't, it's hard to take things personal. And I try not to at all with people because we're all growing. And my dad just turned 67. But my dad's constantly learning and growing. So my 67-year-old version of my father is not even who the 60-year-old version of my dad was, or the 65-year-old version, because he's grown and leveled up, you know? So we're all on that. But I was explaining to him that as we're talking, I can feel the energy shift. And if I'm trying to just have a conversation and it's getting competitive and the energy shifting, I can feel that because I'm an empath. So as an empath, you can feel the energy shift. Now, the DM is an empath as well. I don't believe the DM realized he was. I believe the DM could feel deep emotions, but I believe those emotions made the DM feel extremely uncomfortable to the point where they felt it was best to just stuff those things down. Like, ooh, no. Feelings? Whew, let me push them feelings down, right? They didn't feel comfortable expressing feelings. They didn't feel comfortable feeling them. So a lot of this process was about them even being able to really open back up to that. Like, okay, let me feel. Because it's not like they didn't feel. They just suppressed it as soon as they felt it. So it's not like they didn't feel shit. They just had to really let it come. Like, okay, when I feel something, don't suppress it. Just let me feel it. So they began to start to allow themselves to feel their feelings. And this ultimately is what balanced out their feminine. And basically, because they had so much masculinity, once they started bringing the feminine to the forefront, that's where you get the balance. They weren't using any of their feminine energy. It was all masculine. So just by them tapping in and using just the amount of feminine energy that you need, it balanced it out. Because you can't use all that masculinity if you're tapping into the feminine. So they were actually able to balance out these energies. And that is when they came to this moment, knowing that they do have control over the situation. So what does DM want to tell you now that they know this? What does Divine Masculine want to tell you now that they know this? Past life relationship. You have known each other before. So through this process, the Divine Masculine wants to let you know that yes, he's aware that this is definitely a past life relationship. He is aware that you guys have known each other before. He also wants to let you know that finances and career, financial issues are a factor in this situation. So for a lot of you guys, your Divine Masculine has not come forward just yet because they're dealing with finances and their career. They're trying to get things in order for themselves, because they definitely realize that they want to be in a good place. They want to feel good when they come in. Also, they want to let you know they do want to make the effort. They realize that great love is worth taking the steps they are guided to take. So they are definitely being guided to come in. And for those of you guys who have been in separation, they're just being guided to come in and make contact with you. For those of you guys who are in contact, but it's always been, you've never really known where you guys stand, they're being guided to really let you know, like, exactly how they feel about you. Getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. So yeah, it's DM. He's ready to come in, get to know you, talk, reveal himself to you. And for my feminines out there, I'm going to say you're going to want to be balancing your energies out too, because a lot of us have taken on more of the masculine approach, right? Or more of the masculine energy. But we're going to have to tap in and make sure we're balanced, because remember, we're going to have to feel where this Divine Masculine is even coming from when they come in. Like, all right, is you janky? Is you on that BS still? Or can we feel that this guy, it really has done the work? There is something different about this Divine Masculine. So that's where I leave you guys at. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing, and make sure you hit the share button. Also, leave a comment for me. Let me know if this resonates, because that's the only way I know, guys. You have to leave the comments in the comment section, and I comment back to every comment. It may take a day or two depending, but if I don't have many comments, I usually will get back to your comment like within that time period, you know? I'm usually pretty good with the comments, so let's make sure we're interacting with each other on here. I'm really building this up. It's about to be summertime, so I'm going to have a lot more off times. I'm about to be really out here at the swap meets and doing that, traveling with the tarot, so I'll come on and I'll show you guys how I get down when I'm out in the public doing it, because that's how I started. I'm only in like year 2 of doing tarot, but when I started doing tarot, I did have a YouTube channel, but I really started at bars. I used to be well, first of all, I told y'all this was my block. I told y'all I do everything like the hustle game. So when I used to hustle, I used to make a lot of connections at bars, you know? So I knew that when I started these cards, I could kind of just sit down at a bar, pull some cards out, with the bartender, usually cool with the bartender, pull their cards, and I would get people to come around like, what's that? What you doing? Oh, that's interesting. And so that's how I started my career with tarot, actually at bars. And then I started having this one bartender, Tony Marie, TM, that's my home girl. Very sweet lady, very sweet. Her and her daughter, very sweet people. But she invited me to a bar. I forget exactly which bar, but the first bar that she invited me to. And I went there and I did okay. She hooked me up, showed me around, introduced. I did really good with her, actually. She was very sweet and nice as always. She's real good people. And then maybe 3 weeks later, I went to a bar that she really routinely works at called Bob's Lounge. So if anyone that's in the Pittsburgh area, go up to Bob's Lounge and check out TM. Tony Martin, I believe is the full name. And go tip her good. Tell her Jen E sent you. Jen Ether sent you. But yeah, she's real cool people. And I started going up there to Bob's Lounge and really putting together like how you would do a Tupperware party, tarot parties. And I would come and I had a special price list. And I used to service at least 30 people at these parties. So I'm going to be doing that again when the summer heads up, more bars, more swap meets. And I'm going to go on camera so y'all can see how I do it. I'm more of a traveling person. I like to be out here. I'll be on the bus, downtown, whatever. I like to have fun with this. I'm not just stationary, but I'm just at work all the time. So y'all catch me working, you feel me? Or y'all catch me in the middle of work when I'm at the crib about to go to work. So this summer we're going to get it cracking. We're going to have more fun. So make sure you're tuning in. If you don't know, I'm handling this YouTube channel like any other television channel, like TBS, like Fox channel, like ABC. You watch ABC, you got the option to watch, what's my show? Blackish. You got the option to watch, what's another show? Let's say they have AGTV, America's Got Talent. And then they have a court show, but there's all these different shows and they're not related to each other. But you know what time they come on, right? So with my YouTube channel, I have different shows that are within the channel. So you can watch me learn how to skateboard. Go check that out. You can listen to my music. Go check that out. And then you can come here to see the readings. Check that out. And the newest addition that we're adding over the summer is this stock talk, where we're really going to be digging into not just the stock market, but yes, we're going to talk about the stock market. I do long-term trading, so we're not really going to be talking much about Bitcoin or day trading. I trade for the long term. Now, I'm not against day trading. I'm not against trading crypto. It's just not what I do right now, and I only talk about what I do, and that's the only way I can truly assist you is if I talk about what the hell I know. You feel me? So I'm going to talk to you guys about what I've been doing. I've been long-term trading for about as long as I've been doing tarot now, about 1.5 years, 2 years. And my portfolio's up. My profits are good. My portfolio's up maybe 180%. So imagine buying something and then the value of it rose 180% from what you bought it at. You feel me? So I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to teach you guys my methods and what I do to purchase my stocks, how I look at it, and how a long-term approach to buying stocks can really help you out in the long run. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk to you about day trading. I think that's important, but I think the foundation of really financial stability in trading would be starting just that long-term trade. That's something that, I told a friend when they came over to learn about it a couple weeks ago. She said, I want you to teach me about this stuff. So we made an appointment, a date. She came up, and I spent 2 hours, about 2 hours with her breaking this thing down. She was very pleased. I did it for free, but she ended up tipping me $20. So that's when I knew, oh, okay. I didn't ask her for anything. She just, 20 minutes after she left, I had $20 in my cash app. I'm like, okay. That's when I knew I was doing it for you. Okay, this is worth something. It's worth more than 20. But the fact that she tipped me 20 just let me know that, okay, I'm on to something. That was God, sending that energy through her. So, but the basis of it is, of the long-term trade for me, is what I want to teach you guys is like I told her, is listen, everyone's talking that day trade shit. Everyone's talking crypto. And like I said, I'm not against it at all. I'm not talking stuff on it. I believe in all that stuff as well. I believe cryptocurrency is the future of money. I believe that will be our bread. I believe that what cryptocurrency even does, because like this is the thing, I've educated myself on cryptocurrency, so I actually understand what the coins are, what the dynamic, I understand what cryptocurrency is, so I will break that down if you guys want to know like truly what it is, because it's more, that cryptocurrency is unlike cash because it's more than just a monetary source. It's not just money. It has a whole different a whole different function to it, which is what makes it so valuable. That's really the value of crypto, in my opinion. That's more so the valuable part of crypto, is the function of crypto within itself. So, but the thing is with me, like I told my friend, is I can teach you how to, by the time you retire, we're all in our 30s. When you're 65, I can guarantee you in between $100,000 to $500,000 when you retire. Most of us don't have that, and I'm talking about in the bank. That's your separate money. So if you usually keep a bank account where you usually have 20,000 in your bank account in your checkings, and then you usually have 10,000 or 20,000 put away in savings, right? That's the money you play with every day. I'm talking about having a separate $100,000 just tucked away when you retire. A separate $500,000 just tucked away, sitting there, ready for you when you retire, or before you retire. And that money, if you got 100,000 before you retired, I mean, when you retire, imagine that means when you made 30, you probably flipped something. Maybe you bought a crib. Maybe you did this. Maybe, you know what I mean? So I'm going to teach you guys how to become financial literate. And the first thing I'm going to do is read books with you guys. We're going to do a book reading. That's what we're doing. So we'll probably start this weekend. I'm thinking either we're going to read Think and Grow Rich, or we're going to read The Richest Man in Babylon. So tune in with me. I'll make those premieres. So you know when we're going to read the books, we'll do a chapter, and I'll write down questions, and we'll go over, we'll just review the chapter together. And you can ask me anything in the comments. And hopefully this will help me so I can start to go live on YouTube. Then I can go live and you guys can ask me questions live and I can answer them live. So help me out, y'all. Let's get me rolling. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.